So what's a grape explorer talking about today? So we are doing our journey to what we call Eastern Europe. And as if you've been following us, also our last journey was to Turkey, and we talked about the red wine from Turkey. This is an interesting wine. This is from Armenia. And Armenia's got a beautiful history behind it. We're talking close to 6,000 years. Yes, when I say that, it's actually, there's a coin flip here between Georgia and Armenia as where's the oldest wine region in the world. And Armenia actually is considered one of those. So we wanted to zoom in on this one beautiful wine here. So this is called Karas. And Karas is an interesting project that's actually run by an Argentinian from Armenian descent. And he hired Michel Rolland to come into the winery, and Michel, who's a dear friend, spends a couple of times a year visiting Armenia, and we wanted to show you on the map because when we actually pinpointed our last discussion, we were talking about Turkey, so we're going all the way across here to Armenia, and as you can see right here. And Armenia is an interesting place because, of course, it was controlled here by the Soviet Union, which is right next to Ukraine here, and Georgia. All of these countries were absorbed during the Soviet Union, and that kind of put them back a little bit because basically these countries were producing a lot of very interesting wines prior to World War II. But what happened was, of course, when the Soviet Union came in, they made everything government agency. So it really put these countries and put these wineries from these different regions really behind schedule as to their evolution as to the way that they would actually make different wines. So after the Soviet Union fell and a lot of these countries became independent on their own, you started to see foreign investment. Of course, as we talked about, the owner here, Armenian and from Argentina, they've got Finca del Mundo in Argentina, one of the powerhouses in Argentina. And the owner said, my determination is to go back, make a great wine in Argentina. And it's an interesting blend because you've got 50% Syrah, you've got 35% Malbec, and the remaining balance is Cabernet Franc to make this beautiful wine. So I really wanted to taste this wine, but I did want to revert back to this history because a lot of people really don't know Armenia too much, but of course there are remnants of Noah's Ark in the mountains there too. So we are talking the history of not only the world, but the history of wine. And I wanted to at least explore this for everybody to understand that, listen, we all get caught up in New World wines, and we also get caught up in European wines on the Western side. We really don't spend a lot of time on Eastern Europe, and we really should because these are emerging areas. They're becoming really, really good. And again, when you got Michel Rolland, who's well respected in Bordeaux in Argentina, making wines here, I mean, these wines he's pulling off, these are beautiful wines. I mean, you can smell the terroir, you can smell all that kind of loamy, kind of mineral tone kind of fruit to the edges here. But this is really interesting nose when you smell this kind of wine. Of course, it's Michel Rolland, so I mean, do the math. The guy makes great wines, and this isn't expensive. This wine can be under $25, $30 a bottle for a really interesting wine. But when you taste the wine, there's Michel Rolland. This wine is beautiful. It's got all the different characters. It's almost like cross between, a Bordeaux wine and a wine from Argentina. And you've got all those different flavors. If you love Malbec, this is a really good wine. And you should really try these wines. Again, the history, we're talking, 5,000, 6,000 years of history, Armenia. And it needs to be discovered. We all need to learn. While we're on this earth, we need to try as many things as we can in life to really enjoy. But think about the history. If you love history, you love culture, these are the kind of wines. We're not going to Armenia, we're not topping a plane and going to this country. But if you want a little piece of this country and you want to taste something really, really interesting, this Karas right here is a beautiful wine. Again, this is a Grape Explorer, always exploring the world of wine.